Hi, this week, for law enforcement operations, we're talking about patrol, and we were given an assignment where basically we answer a couple questions, and it's kind of a version of our proposal, on police pursuits. So for question number one, it's what crimes warrant a police pursuit? I put kidnappings. So if an Amber Alert is released and there's an officer who sees the vehicle that was involved in the kidnapping, I would allow them to commence a police pursuit. If there's been a crime that's been committed and that person takes someone hostage or has someone with them who's innocent, who hasn't been a part of the crime, but they're injured, I would also allow a police pursuit. As well as anyone who has plans on hurting someone. So, for example, if a officer got a call about someone shooting a school up, and they're told what vehicle that person is in, and that specific officer catches that vehicle, I would allow a police pursuit. What would exclude a police pursuit? I put bad weather. If it's raining, if there's a hurricane watch, a tornado watch, I wouldn't feel good sending my officer out under those conditions, especially when it is a police pursuit. Heavy traffic or slow traffic. If they're going into a heavily trafficked area, I would not allow it. One, you're more likely to cause an accident and you're just easier to lose them in that type of scenario. I also did that for slow traffic. If traffic is slow, if it's not moving, especially around 8, 9, 10 when people are headed to work, as well as 5, 6, 7 p.m. when people are coming back from work, there's gonna be slow traffic. And again, you're more likely to cause an accident during a police pursuit. Does the officer need supervisor approval? I put yes, just because I would feel, as a supervisor, I would just feel much better knowing that I knew about it ahead of time. I knew what my officer was doing. I knew the reason why. So if a lawsuit were to happen or something bad were to happen, I would at least know through it all that I was aware of what was going on, why it was going on, and just saves putting the blame on someone. When to terminate, I put if a significant time has passed, if that specific driver has been driving, the officer's been driving for a significant amount of time and they're not getting any closer, they're not making any headway, I'd rather just terminate the pursuit, because again, you're more likely to cause an accident. If there are any patrols closer, so if they get a call from an officer like, hey, I'm closer in that direction that the driver is headed in, I would just much rather have that officer take the lead on things. Just saves time when you're already closer. Two, I can have one less officer on the road. And then if they're headed towards a populated area, this goes again with traffic. If they're headed into an area where traffic is bad, if they're headed to an area when traffic gets really slow during a specific amount of time, I also would just terminate it, because again, you're more likely to cause an accident than prevent one. And again, makes it much more difficult to get closer to the driver, and I would much rather just go ahead and prevent a tragedy from happening. Documentation for when a police pursuit has been done. I want a written report saying why, what happened, kind of just the police officer side of the story. I just want a detailed report. I want to know why you did it. what actions kind of might have caused you to initiate a police pursuit, and then any available video, whether that be like the dash cam in the vehicle, or they have like a body cam, anything that kind of gives me something to work with. Obviously, I'll already have the written report, but it's nothing like having something to watch, because there's only so much you can go based off of what someone is saying. But if I were to have a video, something that kind of just gives me insights, might back up their reasoning, I would much rather just feel safer having that. And then we were asked about what we would do in kind of like a 3-block radius where crime is very high. I chose hotspot policing. It's specifically made for smaller geographical areas, so it lets the officers kind of put their focus on those small areas where crime is so high, and kind of just packed into that one area. I would increase patrol time while also having unmarked cars. We all know a lot of the times when we think of unmarked cars, we immediately think of like a Dodge Charger. I would go simpler with that. I wouldn't just use unmarked cars. I would prefer marked cars, but for like nighttime or the weekends, having 1 or 2 also out along with marked cars, I feel like wouldn't be a bad idea. But yes, I would increase patrol time solely because it is a small area, and hopefully I would have the right amount of officers to kind of take shifts, take turns patrolling. I would develop tailored responses. So that goes along with carefully analyzing what's causing these crimes, kind of just knowing what's triggering this certain geographical area to have so much crime, and when I'm approached with that, what is my response I already have on hand for whatever crime has been committed. I just think knowing what triggers crime, kind of what we can do to prevent it, and that goes into my next point, which is kind of crackdowns. So if I get a call like, hey, there's this abandoned building and I think they're doing so-and-so, like sus activity, I would send narcotics patrol. I would send more than just 1 officer, just because if we unearth possibly a drug hideout or whatever it is, I will already have the resources there. I won't have to wait. I'll already have them there. That goes along with tailored responses. Just knowing what's causing it, how it's happening, why it's happening, helps you to better control the crime, and kind of just how when your officers deal with the crime, but also on how they can prevent the crime from happening. So that is my proposal for the Smithfield City Council.